Imagine building a nearly 30-meter-tall statue on a mountain 710 meters above sea level, with no modern cranes or helicopters. In 1926, workers began this incredible challenge in Rio. How did they do it? Stay with us and subscribe for more engineering documentaries. The real challenge began before the statue was even built. Corcovado was steep, rugged, and surrounded by dense forest. Engineers first had to solve a basic question. How could they safely build a massive structure on this exposed mountain summit? Long before construction began, Rio had a bold idea: place a monumental statue high above the city. The goal was more than creating a giant figure. It was to build a landmark that could dominate the skyline and become a lasting symbol of Rio de Janeiro. The design evolved over several years. Engineer Heitor da Silva Costa developed the final project, while artist Carlos Oswald helped define the iconic image of Christ with open arms. Sculptor Paul Landowski later created the sculptural design that would become the monument we recognize today. A beautiful design was only the beginning. Engineers now had to turn the concept into a structure that could survive on a mountain summit. Every major section had to be planned carefully, from the foundation and internal frame to the enormous head and outstretched arms. The statue could not simply rest on the mountain like a solid block. Its weight had to be transferred safely into the rock below. The engineering solution was an internal, reinforced structure, designed to support the monument while keeping its massive outer form relatively light. Before the statue could rise, its foundation had to be secure. Workers prepared the rocky summit of Corcovado for the structure, creating the base that would transfer the monument's enormous load into the mountain beneath it. The foundation was more than a platform. It formed the critical connection between the monument and the mountain. Deep structural supports anchored the base to the rock, giving the future statue a stable starting point against gravity, wind, and the steep terrain. Off from the outside, Christ the Redeemer looks like a solid monument. But inside, a complex structural framework was taking shape. This hidden skeleton was essential. It supported the outer form and gave the massive statue the strength needed to stand on the mountain. Piece by piece, the internal structure rose higher above the summit. Workers positioned structural elements with careful measurements, gradually transforming an empty construction site into the recognizable shape of a giant human figure overlooking Rio. The statue's most dramatic feature created one of its hardest engineering problems: the enormous outstretched arms. They extended far beyond the central body, creating additional forces on the structure. Engineers had to make the arms strong enough to remain stable while keeping the monument's graceful proportions. The arms could not simply be attached to the body and left unsupported. Their structure had to connect back into the main framework, distributing forces through the monument and down toward the foundation. This hidden engineering allowed the iconic open-arm pose to remain both elegant and structurally stable. Building the statue required far more than stone and steel. Concrete, structural materials, tools, and thousands of small pieces had to reach the summit. The mountain's steep terrain made transportation a major logistical challenge, turning every delivery into part of the engineering story. The summit was not a flat construction yard connected to a modern highway. Materials had to move through difficult mountain access routes before reaching the worksite. Careful planning was essential, because delays or damaged supplies could slow an already demanding construction project. Behind the monument were teams of workers performing the difficult physical work. They assembled structural components, handled materials, and built high above the mountain floor. Every task had to be performed carefully, because the construction site offered little room for error. As the structure grew, so did the working height. Wooden scaffolding surrounded the rising monument, giving workers access to sections far above the summit. From there, even a simple construction task became a demanding job requiring balance, coordination, and precision. With the main framework in place, the monument began to take its final shape. Layer by layer, the central body rose above the summit. What had started as a collection of structural elements was now becoming a recognizable human figure, visible from across Rio. At this stage, the engineering and the sculpture began to merge. The internal structure defined the monument's proportions, while each new section brought the body closer to the intended design. From the ground, the growing figure was becoming impossible to miss. Once the main body was rising, the next challenge was one of the most recognizable parts: the head. It had to be positioned precisely above the central structure, while its weight remained supported by the internal framework. At this height, even small construction errors mattered. The head was not simply a large block placed on the body. Its form had to follow the sculptural design, with carefully shaped surfaces creating the recognizable features. Engineers and craftsmen worked together, turning the structural framework into the calm, monumental face seen from across Rio. The arms were now becoming one of the most striking parts of the monument. Their long structural frames had to meet the exact proportions of the design. From the summit, workers continued assembling and shaping these extensions until the familiar open-arm silhouette began to dominate the skyline. The hands required an even finer level of detail. The fingers had to preserve the proportions of the sculptural design while remaining connected to the larger arm structure. At this scale, craftsmanship became just as important as engineering, turning a giant framework into a recognizable human form. The internal structure gave the monument its strength, but it was still far from finished. Now the outer surface had to be built over that hidden framework. Layer by layer, the rough structural form began transforming into the smooth, recognizable shape of Christ the Redeemer. The final exterior would be covered with soapstone mosaic. Instead of using large, solid slabs, the surface was finished with many small pieces, allowing craftsmen to follow the monument's curved forms. This unusual choice would become one of its most recognizable construction details. The surface was covered with thousands of small soapstone pieces, carefully arranged across the monument's curved body. Each piece had to fit the surrounding pattern, creating a continuous protective skin over the structure while preserving the sculpted form. Using small pieces had a practical advantage. They could follow the statue's complex curves more easily than large slabs. Craftsmen could adjust individual pieces to the surface, creating the distinctive mosaic finish that would cover the monument from head to foot. As the statue grew, workers needed a way to reach every section of its enormous surface. A vast network of scaffolding surrounded the monument, creating temporary working platforms high above the mountain. From these narrow platforms, craftsmen continued the painstaking finishing work. At these heights, construction demanded constant care. Tools and materials had to be handled on narrow platforms while workers moved around the unfinished structure. The scaffolding was temporary, but it became the essential workspace that allowed the monument to be completed piece by piece. A monument this high had to face more than its own weight. Strong winds could push against its enormous surface, especially the outstretched arms. Engineers therefore had to consider how forces from the environment would travel through the structure and into the mountain below. The exposed summit also meant severe weather was part of the environment. Rain, wind, clouds, and lightning could all affect the monument. The structure had to be built as a permanent landmark, capable of standing through the changing conditions of a tropical mountain. By the final phase, the giant figure had transformed the summit. The main structure and exterior surface were nearly complete, while craftsmen focused on remaining details. After years of work, the original construction site was becoming the finished monument envisioned for Rio. The final work demanded patience rather than speed. Small surface pieces had to be fitted, edges refined, and unfinished areas completed. As scaffolding began disappearing section by section, the familiar silhouette of Christ, the Redeemer, finally stood clearly against the sky. From the outside, the monument appears massive and solid. Inside, however, it contains a much more practical structural space. The internal arrangement allowed access for inspection and maintenance, while the main framework continued to support the enormous outer form above the mountain. Maintenance was part of the monument's long-term design. Access points and internal routes allowed workers to reach important areas without disturbing the exterior. Decades later, this hidden side of the structure would become just as important as the monument's famous appearance. After years of planning and construction, the final checks began. Engineers and workers inspected the structure, exterior surfaces, and remaining details. The temporary construction world was disappearing, leaving behind a monument designed to dominate the skyline of Rio for generations. The construction equipment was cleared away, the final details were completed, and Rio prepared for the monument's opening in October 1931. After roughly 5 years of construction, the giant figure on Corcovado was finally ready to be seen as a finished landmark. In October 1931, the long construction journey reached its final chapter. Christ the Redeemer now stood complete above Rio, transforming the summit of Corcovado into a landmark visible across the city. A project that began with drawings and engineering calculations had become reality. The completed monument was more than a construction achievement. Its open arms created a powerful silhouette above Rio, turning Christ the Redeemer into an instantly recognizable symbol. The engineering challenge was finished, but the monument's story was only beginning. Nearly a century later, the monument still dominates Corcovado. Its survival is not an accident. A strong structural system, a carefully engineered foundation, durable exterior materials, and decades of maintenance have helped this giant statue endure weather and time. Christ the Redeemer was built with early 20th century engineering, demanding craftsmanship, and an extraordinary construction effort. What began as an ambitious idea became one of the world's most recognizable landmarks. If you enjoyed this journey inside its construction, subscribe for more incredible engineering stories.